What is going on, my beautiful D.D.D fam? It's your boy Brennan, aka Drip, aka Galaxy God, GG, back with another video. And today's video, I decided to, even with it being like post Worlds and end of the season and all that, I decided to update my list because there has been a significant shift in the meta. New decks taking over, new decks. Granted, we still have the same decks, but some other decks are taking over, and in this form of like Monodium is coming up, and then Pearly has definitely been on the rise and has taken over Kashtira's spot as the most represented deck. You can look at tournament results for that if you don't already know. So I wanted to be able to recalibrate the deck in order to combat those decks. I don't expect us to get a ban list until after the Mega Tims, so this list is going to be able to hold us over until the ban list, and if anything changes, you know I'll always normally do a post-ban list Galaxy Eyes deck. That's just normally how it is. But I changed the non-engine and changed some things up in the deck, and to be able to combat those decks. So this deck is the non-engine in this deck is mainly directed towards the top-tier decks, but at the same time, still trying to keep the level of generic to be able to combat other decks as well, which I feel like I have done a very good job of doing so. I play tested everything online thoroughly. I did a couple of live duels on my locals live with a part of this deck, but there was I've changed a couple of things since then. If you've watched the locals live series, which we do on every Thursday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time p.m. But other than that, this is going to be probably a relatively fast list because I'm not going to go in detail on much, because mainly I've had a lot of requests where people actually want me to talk a little bit about the matchups with Pearly and stuff like that. So Monodium and stuff like that. So we'll talk more about that when we get in there. Another thing I want to mention too, this deck pushes past the limits that I've recently given it, over the years, the past 2 years. If you are familiar with my videos, you know the limitations I gave in the deck, 6 to 7 non-engine / hand traps. I pushed past that. I wanted to test it out since we got all the Photon Hypernova support and Photon Jumper and all that. I wanted to push past that to be able to try and see if it can run other more than 6 or 7, which I'm running 9 plus 3 other utility cards that are consistency cards. So to start out, everything's going to be familiar and standard for the most part. 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. If you know my list, you know this is basically how I like to run my deck. 1 in the hand, 1 in grave, 1 in deck. It's always been that way. 1 in hand, grave, deck. 3 of your best starter, 3 of your second best starter. Brave is now a starter for the most part because we run such a high level of photons now. He basically is a starter. So Galaxy Eyes Afterglow, but Brave is now a starter because you run such a high level of photons. Afterglow, you only need 1 rotation because he's just an OTK based card. Yes, he has a good extender, but he's situational. You need a Galaxy Eyes monster. Summoner, you only need 1 in rotation, and Cleric, you only need 1 in rotation. The way I play this deck is a lot of people like running greater numbers on certain cards, which I get that. It's consistency. I understand. I really do. But at the same time, you don't want to see multiples of the same card in hand, even though a lot of people see it as using the engine to be able to break boards. That is very, you can do that. But against a top tier deck, you cannot do that. On top of that, what a lot of people they fail to realize when it comes to Galaxy Eyes, you have the ability to be able to dump your engine and your board onto the board and then rotate it and facilitate everything through the graveyard. So why run maximum more levels of cards when you could just keep rotating everything with the graveyard via Soul Flare? It just makes no sense to run extra unnecessary bricks when you could be drawing utility cards after you get your engine on the board and in the graveyard. Because like for Photon Dragon, grave, hand, grave, deck. And once you basically only reason you really need 1 in deck is because of trance most of the time, or expedition at worst case scenario. Other than that, you only need 1 in hand and grave because you just keep cycling everything. That's what a lot of people fail to realize, and because I have like some hate where people will comment on my videos and be like they don't agree with my ratios. That's perfectly fine. Everybody has their opinion. I'm okay with that and entitled to the opinion. I'm just giving you my reasoning on why. You simplify what your deck is trying to do, the more consistent the deck will be. My personal opinion. That's just me. You simplify what it tries to do, and the better your results will be. Photon engine, 3 orbital, 1, 1, 1. This is it. This is all you need. Only reason you even really need him and need Vanisher is because he gives you full combo in the form of being able to have Blast, Photon Dragon, Soul Flare 90. Other than that, you don't even really need this card anymore, but he is still a very good generic extender to help you get to your 4s. All you really need to get to your 4s anymore is Jumper to be able to send it to the graveyard. But yes, I still run the one Vanisher because you can go get him with almost anything in your entire deck, and you can get instant access to him anytime you want. You don't want to clog on multiples because he's not a starter. He's just an extender and a situational extender at that. And because if you already get access to your 4s, he's not really that good unless you absolutely need an 8 and you already have Photon Dragon on board and you just special him and then use Photon Dragon to make him a level 8. Other than that, he's not very necessary because you have other means of extension and comboing. But that's it for the Photon. You never need more than one jumper. You just don't. This secondary effect very rarely ever comes up. You never want to use it. Definitely considering you're running a OTG-based strategy, it just makes no sense why you want to give up your battle phase. Unless, because in most scenarios, if you're going to use that, you probably don't have enough utility to be able to play through their board and potential hand traps to be able to reestablish your board. So, more of the story, you're going to lose that game regardless. You just want to be able to send him to the graveyard, search, and then rotate this from the graveyard to your hand, or rotate this from your graveyard to the field to be able to use off of your XEs. Same with Emperor. You definitely don't want to see an extra copy of them because if you do the combo right, then you will always get instant access to all of them. To the non-engine, Ash, because it's the most generic. Branded is still a deck. You got to be strapped for Branded. Ogre, and then Book of Moon. Ash is mandatory. Ogre, I feel, is mandatory. Book of Moon is it's not situational. I like it. The reason why I run these is because this is the most generic and it hits everything in the deck and the game pretty much, and branded. This is very good against Monodium. Is situational against Cash. Definitely for the birth. If they have Rise Heart up, then this is dead because you can't activate this under a Rise Heart. And then Book of Moon is very good against everything. It's good against Kashtira. It's good against Monodium. If you time it right, it's very good against Branded to be able to play around their Mirror Jade or whatever the heck that you're trying to play around. This is just over Purely. This card's very good against Pearly. These 6 cards here are the main cards that you're going to be using. All 9 you can use against Pearly, Branded, and Monodium. But these 6 are going to put in the most work for you against Pearly and Monodium. Because against Monodium, for an example, you hit their Resurrection off of you hit their field spell. Basically, you hit the Peaceful Planet with this, and what else? You hit the Peaceful Planet with that, and then Book of Moon is just really good at stopping them from having a non-tuner to be able to extend. And then Ash is obviously good against Monodium. Ogre is very good against Pearly. It's the main reason it's in here, since Pearly is the most represented deck. It's because you can hit their My Friend Pearly, their continuous spell, when they activate it to burn. So they burn for 500 and they don't get to search. So wait for that. So when they activate, they neg pretty bad. Also, their level 1 monsters have to activate. They have 2 activations. Don't hit them on the first activation. The first activation, they excavate to be able to add a Pearly card. Then they activate again to be able to XZ from hand or graveyard, depending on which one it is. The white one uses itself in a card from hand, and then the black one uses itself and a card from grave. So they have to activate. They have to activate a second time, and you just hit them with this. Then, and then they just can't. They can't XZ, so they go neg. So that's another reason why this is in there too. So between My Friend Pearly, depending on what other interruptions you have, like if you open these 2. Then you hit if you open Ghost Ogre and Book of Moon, then you're always going to hit My Friend Pearly with the Ghost Ogre, because they don't get to search and they just can't really extend. Most of the time, they're probably going to search sleepy memory to be able to get additional draws and stuff. But Book of Moon is really really freaking good against them, because unless they open just straight up cracked, and I think it's delicious memory, they can't get to Noir turn one, so they use the Pearly, the rank 2, I think Pearly. No, they use the either black one or something to be able to search the trap card, and then they use the trap card on your standby phase to be able to make the Noir. So what you do then is when you go wait for them to activate the trap, when they activate the trap, target their level 2 to be able to rank up in the Noir. You just go Book of Moon, and then Book of Moon their XZ. Then they don't get to make a Noir, so they just go super neg. So if you open Ogre and Book of Moon, you just Ogre My Friend Pearly, and then you Book of Moon when they activate the trap, and you just literally win. There's no way you lose from that unless you didn't open no engine at all. But yeah, Ash is just the most generic. I don't main Droll anymore because it's just kind of fallen out of favor, even though it's still the most generic hand trap, I feel, besides Ash in this format, because Imperm just feels mid. But I do side deck the Droll. When we'll talk about side deck more when we get there. For rest, like spells and stuff, I main 3 Small World now. These are my utility consistency cards. I do not play trade-in. I decided to go away from trade-in to make room for more non-engine, because Small World, the deck is so consistent now. Trade-in sometimes feels like a win more. Definitely when you have Small World in hand, when Small World can get you a guaranteed starter, as where trade-in just gets a level 8 in Graveyard, potentially Galaxy has Photon Dragon. But as you already seen already, we're not running Galaxy Soldier. I mean, not Galaxy not Soldier. Damn it. Galaxy Knight, sorry. Thank you there. Yeah, we're not running Galaxy Knight, so that combos doesn't really matter anymore. On top of that, we don't really have to crutch on that combo anymore like we usually did back in the day before we got all the support. So the deck's more consistent now, to where we don't need that many consistency cards. We just need stuff to be able to get us to our engine, and this can get us to anything we need. And it doesn't banish for cost, so it plays around Ash. So like if they have to Ash this upon activation without you going super neg by banishing in hand. So you know this. I put Small World on the map when it comes to this deck, so you already know about Small World. I don't need to tell you nothing. Trade-in just felt like more of a win more, and I have not missed it, honestly. 2 talents, because this card is just very good at playing through hand traps and allow you to play through hand traps, because all this deck really needs is 1 to 2 cards to be able to go off. I like when I open full combo, they Ash me and I still have full combo, and I just rip 1 from hand, so it feels really good. Generic 1-0s. Foolish Burial. I'm getting tired of being fucking drolled. Called by the Grave. Only 1 Sanctuary because you only need it for the crackback. Trance for the combo, and you just loop it. 1 Expedition. This is where a lot of people hate me, and it's just the cold, harsh truth. This card's only good in 1-ofs. You see multiple, it's just garbage. You just recycle it with Cleric. 100%. 100% of the time, you just recycle it with Cleric. Last card in the deck, as you already guessed it, a Galaxy 100. You only need 1. You don't need multiple, man. You don't. Because in tandem, these 2 are the same card, and you would not want to see 200 in hand, because then it's just 1 dead card. Is where if you had another starter or a hand trap or something, you could have stopped your opponent. As where if you potentially see both of these in hand, you still can send. You can send Photon Jumper. They Ash it. Cool. Send Photon Jumper. Foolish Burial is basically a 1-card combo. There's nothing that needs to be said about that. It's just the cold, harsh truth. People out here maxing out on Galaxy 100s. I mean, I get it. I really do. It's like basically a 1-card combo. I really get it. But you don't need multiple of it. I promise. That's just me and my playstyle. I'm not judging you at all for you and your playstyle. I'm just letting you know it. Like if you were on the edge of wanting to potentially cut back on it, I'm letting you know it's okay. You can cut back on it. 2 Soul Flare, that's all you need. 1 Mr. Play Around / Play Through Nibiru / I Destroy back row. Bushinki Ashima. That's it for the links. Soul Flare, obviously, if you haven't already guessed, is how you just keep cycling stuff from your graveyard. Some people be like, well, you only have 2. What are you going to do after you use the second one? Well, I'm going to put 1 back with my summoner. 2 Lord, most expensive card in the deck for the most part. Nothing needs to be said about that. You need 2. You can't get away with 1. Cypher Package. Cypher X, Cypher Blade. These cards are gross. They're disgusting. The X decks stay the same and will stay the same for a while. Probably won't ever change. Full Armor. Mr. OTK, Mr. I take a giant dog shit on Scareclaw. Number C62. He's disgusting. He OTKs and clears boards if Prime is not enough. You also go into this when you're playing against Branded, because if they don't go Dragoon Crutch, then you just kill them with this card unless they have Super Poly, because the Mirror Jade can't out it. And if they don't have Mirror Jade and they don't have Dragoon Crutch, then you just win. So, yeah. And then one Photon Dragon because you need it for the combo, one Blast for the protection, and one Zeus because we're better and we can make a big Zeus. That's it for the main and the extra deck. Extra deck, obviously, you already know is not changing anytime soon. Even if we got Dark Matter back, this extra deck would not be changing. The only time the extra deck would probably change is something dramatic, like they gave us a way to like potentially also crap. I don't know where it's at. Oh, I forgot to add in here the 15th card. I know probably people are already in the comment section. The 15th card in the extra deck is number 38. I thought I had it in here, but it's actually with my Blue Eyes stuff from when I did a Blue Eyes deck profile a while back. But no, 38 is the 15th card. The only time the extra deck could probably change is if they gave us a way to search Tachyon, then I would probably try running 107. But nothing's going to change until then. Even if we got Dark Matter back, I don't think the extra deck would change because I don't like Dark Matter's power craft is not good anymore. But if you're wanting to know for the side deck, the most generic side deck for like anything a level of generic, besides obviously if you have a heavier deck or something at your locals, you'll probably switch it up. But the most generic side deck, I'm going to read it off to you because I have it on my screen. I have my side deck up there and I haven't put it together because. But even though this is not a tournament deck list, even though it is a tournament deck list, normally tournament deck list is the only time I normally do like fresh off a tournament is when I do side decks. But the side deck is going to be 3 Dark Ruler No More, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 3 Herald of the Abyss because it is a very good board breaker. Definitely, it's mainly for Pearly, but it's good against everything. Herald of the Abyss, 2 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Goes in Match because we only run lights and it feels good. 2 Tachyon Transmigration, and then 2 Drone Lockbird. That is going to be your 15th card side deck, and it literally every single card in that side deck puts in work. But overall, this is the list until we get a ban list or something drastically changes and shifts in the meta. I just wanted to be able to bring this to you guys because, one, I pushed the deck past its boundaries, and it actually worked out in my favor. And on top of that, there's a shift in the meta, and I want to keep you guys strapped and ready because that's all I care about is you guys and you guys being able to play Galaxy Eyes and kick everybody's ass with it because they don't know what the deck does, and it's the best deck. So Galaxy Eyes best deck. So, but with that being said, please hit that like button if you haven't already. I really appreciate it and love you guys for it. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Check the description for all the ways to support me: Patreon, Discord, merch store, PayPal. Everything's down there. All my social media platforms are down there as well. So go give your boy a sub or a follow, and keep tabs on me with all the other things I do. Also, I'll probably end up posting the Zeus combo down there too, just for the new people who are new to the channel and want to see the Zeus combo that I made several years ago to be able to constantly loop Zeus and be able to keep constant resources. But with that being said, I love you guys so much. Your boy Brennan, a.k.a. Drip, a.k.a. Galaxy God, GG. Sign out till next time. Peace. Good dueling, my guys.